How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. We have a really cool interview with Phil Spencer. Now this is using Google Translate, so there may be a few things lost in translation, but we do have a bit of news to get through, so I hope you enjoy this video. Last video, I set you a challenge of getting 500 likes. We actually smashed that with, as you can see on screen right now, 516 likes, and it's still increasing. So a massive thank you for that challenge. We're going to set another 500 likes challenge for this one. There is a lot of good info to get through here. If you do find this video useful, do click that subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps the channel grow. Don't forget, if you want to support me further, you can support me by becoming a member on my YouTube channel or joining my Patreon, both of which are in the description below, and well, the YouTube membership is just directly below the video. Right, so as we can see here with the VIP interview, Microsoft Phil Spencer Xbox is a community of players who can play on multiple devices. So as you can see here, we have this interview with Phil Spencer with Tweaktown. It is a really good interview, lots of good information. So let's get cracking. I have used Google Translate to basically convert the text. So some things might be lost in translation, some things just might not be, won't be received as good. Some things may be lost in translation, but overall, from what I've read, it seems pretty okay. But let's get on with it. Microsoft's Phil Spencer Xbox is a community of players who can play on multiple devices. So that's what he is saying. And there's a lot of truth in what he's saying, but there's a lot of just chatter in here talking about the games industry and how Microsoft has been viewed in Japan and how they've been trying to get that reputation going and building on the success. So I've picked out a couple of the questions that I think are really important, really cool, and worth talking about because as you can see here, how do you analyze the reasons why Xbox Series XS is doing better than the previous generation Xbox One? And he says, we created the Xbox Series S because we thought that people in Japan would probably prefer a smaller version. The Xbox Series S was actually well received. I think this was an effective strategic decision. Now, regardless of how they actually look at it, when we're looking at the PS5, the monstrosity of that size, clearly the size factor wasn't really a thing. I genuinely believe it was the cost factor this time that actually allowed people into the Game Pass kind of universe, and those people that actually enjoyed the Series S may have gone on to pick up the Series X, or just enjoyed cloud gaming through their devices, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't need to play on the Xbox in order to play Xbox. But I think it's interesting that the Series S was designed with the Japanese market in mind. So it does show that they are kind of thinking outwards in that direction, trying to entice the Japanese market to get on board. And it has shown that, despite the low numbers that they have in Japan, the fact is the Series consoles are doing better than the Xbox One consoles, and that's always a good thing. So there is a positive net gain from this. Now, there's a bunch of other chatter about the Xbox One and its reach, so that's kind of stuff we already know about. In addition to support for Japanese creators and the production of Xbox Series S, I believe that the expanded content of Game Pass is also contributing to the spread of Xbox Series X and S. Phil says that's right. Xbox Game Pass has an important meaning on Xbox. In particular, the growth of PC Game Pass is remarkable. The size of the Japanese PC game market has roughly doubled in the past 3 years, but the number of PC Game Pass users has quadrupled. So even though in Japan the number of PC gamers has doubled, it's clear that more people are embracing PC Game Pass over there, and that's a good thing. It just shows that they're giving the community a choice of whether they want to play their Xbox first-party games on PC or via console, and it just gives people, when you have a choice, and you have a choice in the subscription as well, you don't have to go straight to Ultimate because that doesn't really matter when it comes to PC. That's why they have the PC Game Pass. It's just a great window to get those people in. Game Pass is growing faster than the market, which is great for Xbox brand as a whole. Many of the number of Game Pass users is higher. Maybe the number of Game Pass users is higher than the number of hardware units sold. Now, this is a question that's always been asked. That's a good question, says Phil. We believe that everyone who plays the game, including Game Pass users, is an Xbox user. Of course, there are many people who play on home game consoles, but there are also many people who play on multiple devices, such as playing on home game consoles or PCs at home and on the cloud where they are on the go. I think this raises the question, is Xbox a multi-device community? But in my opinion, Xbox is a community of players who can play on multiple devices in various places. Thinking about. Since I travel a lot for business and travel, I carry my Asus ROG Ally, a portable gaming PC released by Asus in June, with me, and I think of it as an Xbox as well. Of course, I can use Game Pass, and I also play Starfield and Lies of P. Since all of my save data is in the cloud, I can move from screen and play anywhere. It is positioned as a community that I carry with me. When I get home, I play on a home game console connected to a large TV. Demand for gaming PCs is growing in Japan as well, and Steam has become very popular as a platform for playing games. On PCs, as a platform, it could become a rival to Xbox, basically Steam versus Game Pass. How do you feel about Steam? And Phil says, regarding Steam, I consider it a partner. They have been great innovators and innovative technology in Windows gaming for many years. In that sense, I consider not only ROG Ally, but also Steam Deck to be Xbox. Now, I did read both of these at the same time, and it was a bit long-winded, but what the point he's making here is that with the whole play anywhere nature, whether it's on your Steam Deck, your ROG Ally, your mobile phone, your tablet, your game console, your PC, basically, as long as it has a form of browser, it can run an Xbox game. And as far as he's concerned, Xbox isn't just a console anymore. It's a platform. It's an ecosystem. Anywhere that they want to run the Xbox games, excluding PlayStation it seems, is going to be within the Xbox Eco family. Now, I know a lot of PC players are saying, well, this isn't Xbox, I'm not accepting that. You don't have to accept it, but the reality is Microsoft has infiltrated, in terms of Game Pass, the PC market and is slowly but surely claiming it. And whether you want to agree with it or like it or not, it's entirely up to you, but it is becoming one with the synonym of Xbox. That's I guess that's their reach, that's their goal. So when you've got, PlayStation fans turning around and saying, oh, we've sold 50 million consoles, it doesn't matter, because as far as PlayStation fans are concerned, or Sony's concerned, their reach is just that 50 million. When it comes to Microsoft, their reach is the entire mobile, PC, tablet ecosystem. That is way more than 50 million. And they didn't have to spend a penny on R&D to develop that. You know how PlayStation fans now are saying we're going to get COD and we don't even have to market it and pay all that money and still get the game as nothing changed? It's taking that mentality and taking it even further. Instead of them having to, sell 50 million Xbox consoles, they don't have to anymore, because they've already got hundreds of millions of platforms out there ready to play their games via Game Pass. And that is where they want to be. I think some Japanese fans are asking for more Square Enix titles to be compatible with Xbox Game Pass. Should we expect that? Las Vegas Fan Festival, I spoke on stage with the new president and CEO Takashi Kiryu and Yoshipi Naoki Yoshida. And Kiryu said, from now on, we will support Xbox more. I think that's very reassuring. Of course, we will have to spend more time coordinating with Square Enix, but we are very happy that Final Fantasy XIV will be compatible with Xbox Series X and S, and we are excited about the future. I think there are many. So you can see from there that there are plans to bring a lot more Square Enix games over to Xbox, and it looks like some of them will be making their way over to Game Pass as well. I suspect at some point the pixel remasters are just going to go straight to Game Pass. I think that's the plan for it, and I think that's actually not a bad shout, and I think that will actually help with Game Pass subscriptions as well, because the collection is actually a very, very nice one. Now, this last point here, we can see the question, whose video was released at the Tokyo Game Show was also announced in details 4 years after its initial release. And it was a game called Hotel Barcelona. Though Phil Spencer and Microsoft knew about this game's existence and its development, and the fact that it was coming to Xbox, I'll have a link to the trailer in the description below. It's actually pretty good. It's a horror game, Hotel Barcelona. It's actually it looks really, really fun. He says, ultimately, it is the creators who decide when to expose their new work, but they have decided to announce the details of Hotel Barcelona in conjunction with our broadcast at Tokyo Game Show. It was an honor, and I was deeply moved to think that it was the culmination of a long-standing relationship. In that sense, I think it is important to build relationships of trust with creators. And I think what he's done there is very important. Building trust in Japan is so, so important. That is the market they want to break into. They want to start getting, a foothold in. So regardless of which developers it is, gaining the trust, getting on that level is always important. Now, here we have Japanese game fans are also happy to see a new work by a Japanese creator being unveiled on Microsoft Stream as an initiative between Microsoft and Japanese creators. I am also interested in the project with Hideo Kojima. Please tell me the progress. Now, Phil says, I think I mentioned it before, but it's up to Mr. Kojima. I have plans to meet with Mr. Kojima while I'm in Japan, and we'll talk about the update there. So I think I'll be able to give you a better answer after that. I'm looking forward to meeting Mr. Kojima, and it's my first time making a game with him. So I'm really looking forward to it. So this, for those of people out there that were saying that there is no Kojima game, it's fake, it's, fool's fallacy, it was just a rumor, this confirms that there is a game in the works with Kojima for the Xbox Series X. I assume this is the one that's going to be utilized in the cloud, the one that Kojima really wanted to build when Stadia were around, but Stadia decided that they were too big for Kojima and decided to snub him. So Microsoft moved in and said, you know what, we're big on the cloud, we want to take this on board. Hopefully the game will turn out good, it will have that Kojima flair to it, and we will all enjoy it. But it's good to see that that is still the case. Now, do you have any prospects of consistently releasing major works even in the next few years? Phil says, yes, over the next 2 to 3 years, we plan to release a third-party blockbuster or highly anticipated title every 3 months. We are very excited and looking forward to that. So I suspect potentially Q1 we may see Hellblade. It's either going to be Q1 or Q4, but that's kind of cool. I'm really excited for that. Hellblade was so awesome. Now, this is one for those Halos and Gears fans. In the past, popular IPs such as Halo and Gears stood out, but does this mean the Xbox IPs have also entered a new turn? I think there was a time in the past, he says, few years when we were just repeating the 4 major IPs, Halo, Gears, Forza, and Fable. But now we're expanding into a wide range of projects, including franchises. We're happy to offer the game to you regarding Gears. Regarding Gears, it's been a while since we last talked about it, but I feel like it's moving in the right direction. At some point, I hope to be able to share with you the results of the work I'm doing with the developer, the Coalition. We are also investing heavily in the technology of our studio, so please look forward to it. The team is also working on various things for Halo, so that's cool. We know that they've just had a new season, but is this going to be like for the single player side of things? Is it going to be part of Infinite? I assume it's going to be for the single player because we now heard that 10-year plan has gone down the drain for the single player. It's probably going to continue for multiplayer, but single player seems to be a whitewash and they're going to restart it fresh, building it for next gen only. Whereas the Halo Infinite was built with the Xbox One in mind. In fact, it was originally built for the Xbox One. We are also making steady progress in terms of traditional franchises. Now, I think that bit there is really cool. Traditional franchises. So this is going back to games that were really popular in the past that have kind of been forgotten, like Guitar Hero. So I think it's really damn cool that he's making references to those games, and you know, he keeps talking about StarCraft, Guitar Heroes, and I think that's a really good thing for him to do, because bringing those games back is what people want. You know, people want those Banjo-Kazooies. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Banjo-Kazooie would sell in this day and age, but yeah. But that's pretty much the important things from the actual interview that I found, and I thought it was a good interview. Now, we also have this over here. I just wanted to read this as well, because though it's not part of the actual interview, this is relating to Blizzard, and Akame Games has basically bullet pointed the stuff from Jason Schreier's article from Bloomberg. It says, Phil Spencer wants Blizzard to become more like the independent studio it once was. And now this is music to every Blizzard fan's ears, because under Activision, they were severely shackled to produce the same tired old stuff over and over again and focus on that whole monetization side. And as we saw with Diablo 4, things didn't really change. But hopefully now under Phil's supervision and the freedom that they're getting now, they are, you know, unshackled from Activision, Blizzard can finally rise like the Phoenix and return to its former greatness. Blizzard president Mike Ybarra says before he had to run many decisions up the chain of executives at Activision, and as you know, this is very time consuming. And he says slowing everything down. So a simple request or a decision could take weeks to be resolved. Going to Phil and saying, hey, can we do this? I think he would look at me and say, go run your studio. And though that is the hands-off approach Phil likes to have, he likes to give the developers the autonomy, the power to run their own brigade. I do think some kind of supervision, some kind of hand-holding is necessary at the beginning, just to make sure quality and standards are upheld. We've seen in the past where complete hands-off has led to some studios delivering some disastrous projects, but I think when it comes to Blizzard, a hands-off approach is probably the right approach, but at least have that supervision there to make sure things are running. Ybarra also says there's less pressure on Blizzard now that they're a much smaller chunk of the overall company, because now they're kind of their own entity. They're no longer Activision Blizzard, they are just Blizzard Entertainment, allowing them more freedom to experiment with less mainstream projects. And this part here is what actually really excites me, because they don't need to focus on those super high-profile games that they keep on wanting. So games like StarCraft, which haven't been around for so long, and I know it's got a big following, and I'm not saying it's a niche game, but it's been forgotten. It's been left in the past, and all Activision Blizzard cared about at the time was the ones with the big profile names like Overwatch, Diablo. StarCraft was pushed away. Now those type of games, and maybe even the smaller ones, can actually see the light of day. StarCraft could make a comeback in a different genre altogether. There you go. I mean, I didn't even read that last line while I was rambling, but there you go. But I think this is really cool. I think this is really big, and I think finally Blizzard can flourish their wings and expand. And with the interview we just went through, it's good to see that they're making headway into the Japanese market. I don't think they're going to break through into it in the Series X's lifetime life, but I think the next generation console could actually do potentially really well, depending on how big and how successful and how good the quality is on Game Pass. I think that's the really big one for the Japanese market, because I think with Microsoft pushing more digital for the Japanese market, I think that's where it's going to be key. Game Pass is going to be huge for that country, and hopefully we'll get a nice return. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We hit 516 likes in the previous video. We're setting another 500 likes for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet done so. And of course, if you want to show further support, you can hit that join button to become a YouTube member. It all goes to supporting the channel. And of course, you can always join my Patreon as well. So if you do decide to join my YouTube membership or the Patreon, thank you very much. You're amazing. Thank you so much for the additional support. Again, you don't have to. Simply subscribing and dropping a like is more than enough. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video. Remain legend.